First, let's start with this case. Background: I, 30 AIM, have grown up having pets at home since I was a kid. I love pets. Cats, dogs, whatever. My wife is an only child and never had a pet before, had no idea how much work is involved. So she comes to me one day and says she wants a dog. She is easily influenced by friends or coworkers and sometimes gets ideas in her head and acts irrationally on it. I tried explaining how much work is involved, and she agrees she will take care of the dog. She is often in multiple group chats online and joined one about Japanese akitas after watching the movie Hachi, A Dog's Tale. I suggested a smaller breed dog as her first pet to make it easier, because akitas are known to have strong personalities and be more for experienced dog owners. I work construction and have long hours between March to December, then I have a couple months off. We get the dog in December as a puppy. We take him to dog parks and he socializes well. Then COVID hits and he grows full size with little interaction with other dogs. When I walk him, he constantly pulls towards other dogs, and when he gets close, if he feels even a little challenged, he turns aggressive. To the point when I walk him, I let other dog owners know he is not dog-friendly, cross the street when seeing another dog, etc. My wife never walks him because he is a large breed dog and she can't handle if he pulls. I have taken him to obedience training, and he walks great aside from when he sees another dog. I talked to her about getting him fixed to reduce the testosterones, etc. She refused because she wanted to try breeding him. We waited until he was almost 2 years old. We tried breeding, which was a lot of extra work on my part. She basically just met up with the people, and I had the female dog dropped in my lap for a week to look after, as well as our own dog. The breeding didn't go well and the female dog didn't make it. We let the other family keep the 2 puppies that made it. I revisit the idea of having ours fixed, and she refuses because she wants to breed him again. At this point, I love my dog, but I don't want the extra work involved in breeding. So I had him fixed. She is upset because I didn't listen to her. I explained how I have basically been taking care of him by myself, because she always has an excuse to not walk him, etc. It's been a couple months now and she is still upset about it. I walk him and he doesn't pull towards other dogs, and when we get close he is not aggressive and just smells them. Am I in the wrong for fixing him after attempting to breed him like she wanted? Let's start judging. You're not in the wrong. Your wife has shown that she believes everything she sees on online forums and chose a dog that she was unable to care for. She never should have considered breeding the dog, especially when she has no experience with it and has never even had a pet before. The fact that she wanted to breed the dog again after all the issues from the first go-around shows that not only is she a bad pet owner, she really comes across as someone who isn't even a good person. If she was going to neglect all of the duties associated with a dog that she got only because she saw it on a damn movie, then you had every right to get that dog fixed. She can be mad all she wants, but her inability to even do the minimum amount for what she essentially sees as a toy means she no longer gets a say in any decision-making. This is why animals end up in shelters. People with no experience choose to buy dogs due to popularity, but do no research to see if they are actually able to take care of the dog. And it still is incredibly concerning that she wanted to breed the dog in the first place, but did nothing to help and just left everything to you. She needs to realize that even if she is one of those people that sees a dog as just property, it doesn't mean that it isn't a living and breathing thing. Honestly, I'm not quite sure you should even keep those dogs. You work long hours for several months out of the year, and she's not capable of really even walking the dog. Someone made a comment that you see your wife as a child. Unfortunately, she's acting like one. She is very much like the kid that begs their parents for a puppy and then gets bored when they realize it actually takes time to care for it. All of that being said, I am truly glad that you got the dog fixed. It was safer for you since you are the one walking the dog, and safer for the dog, as your wife probably would have kept trying to breed the dog against your will, even after the disastrous attempt the first time. You're not in the wrong. It's never ever a mistake or wrong to alter a dog to prevent breeding. Take her to an animal shelter. Show her the akitas and huskies and pitties lined up waiting for euthanasia. Show her how overcrowded the shelters are. Don't make big plans about it. Just find one near you and pop in. No warning. Show her the consequences of dogs that are bred indiscriminately. And Akitas are defensive guard dogs. They're mean and aggressive even when they're sterilized and require constant vigilance and attention. They were bred to fight and defend, and they do not play well with others, sadly. They require an experienced dog handler, always. Stop being her doormat. You made it clear it was her dog. She won't walk it. Breeding was on you. Ha, didn't mean it that way. She is childish, making big promises and not holding up her end. You got the Akita she wanted, didn't you? You're not in the wrong for being responsible. She said no. Too bad. It's the right thing to do, and she's not doing her part here. I'd be wary of having a baby with her. Next up, her best friend is getting married later this year, East Coast, and has told us the dates for about 2 months now, and we were definitely planning on going, apart from the fact that my wife is the maid of honor. This is a smaller wedding of around 60 people, so only people who her friend really wanted to attend got an invite. A few days ago, I was told by my family that we were going to have our grandma's 100th birthday party on the same day in the West Coast. I thought this was a no-brainer, and I said if this was any other birthday, I would skip it. But this is to celebrate her 100th, and I would like to attend the big party, and she can go to her friend's wedding. Literally, the whole family would be there, except her, and my family understands she had a prior obligation, and many families are traveling from overseas to be in attendance. My wife is very upset that I had RSVP'd earlier, and that now I'm backing out of attending the wedding. I can't really see what the big point is. Since we can each attend the event, we find more important to our individual lives. Her main points are, there are so many people attending the party. They won't even know you aren't there. You committed to wedding earlier than this event. To be honest, I didn't even know the party until a few days ago. The fact that I was invited to the small wedding means so much to her friend, and would make her sad if I didn't go, and were not part of the pictures. I was part of the must-attend list. Parents told me to attend if you can, which gives me a pass for not going and not hurting anyone's feeling. We are a unit, so we should be seen together at these big events. So it's going to be weird that I'm alone at my thing and she's alone at her thing. My main points are, I like your friend, but I'd prefer to celebrate 100th birthday with, which is a milestone for not only my grandma, but also for my family. I don't like my wife thinking for her friend. I want to attend the family event. I feel like this trumps everything, all her points. I don't know. I feel like it's a no-brainer. But she absolutely lost her mind over this, and I don't feel like I did anything wrong, so I can't even force myself to, try to console her. Maybe I'm the idiot for this. Anyways, am I in the wrong? Wow, so many comments. I have not said yes to the party. This discussion is still ongoing, but I want to go to the party. When my folks told me about the party, I did say let me get back to you. But honestly, I completely forgot about the existence of the wedding when I waltzed in and dropped the bomb on my SO. I live in East Coast, but extended family lives in West Coast. Rescheduling the party is not an option. Elders have a set date near the actual birth date, and a lot of people are involved. Why didn't you know it was her birthday when you RSVP'd? I agree I should have known, and I wish I had remembered. But we were discussing the invite. Wife was excited, stressed about all of the MOH things she had to plan and do, and I RSVP'd without thinking harder. She did apologize about the grandma remembering stuff and said it was out of anger. She is a sweet person, so I'm going to remove it. Thanks so much for all of the comments and perspectives. I see where I was the idiot to my wife, and not be aware or considerate about the amount of stress of being MOH entails. Her job was to ensure that her best friend's day is the best that it can be. And also, she was expecting me to be there, so it was just the perfect stress storm. For the reconciliation process, I just laid out what I would like to do, which is different from my usual approach. I like to give my wife options, and she can choose. She has to choose enough already, so it was an attempt on my end to lessen her burdens. FaceTime the bride immediately after the conversation and explain the situation and timeline of events. Go on a double date to a restaurant that they had on their list for a while. I will go with my wife on the morning of the wedding when they start to do all the prep and congratulate her on her wedding, and then take a flight to the West Coast. I'll be a little late for my birthday, but it's okay. Wife was still not too happy that I was going to no be at the actual wedding, but understood that things come up and agreed with my plan. She was upset that I didn't remember that it was my grandma's birthday month, and there could have been a potential celebration. Next up, my neighbor has 2 kids, a toddler around 3-ish, and a baby that's less than a year. She's unemployed and has a roommate, but neither of them pay any attention to the toddler. Here's why I contacted CPS. I'm pretty sure there's a developmental issue with the child and that he's nonverbal. He will scream and cry all day. This is in an apartment building, so it's really easy to hear. Throw himself against the wall and door. Attempt to hit the baby. Caught someone telling him not to do that. And generally just be neglected. Mom took the baby outside when it was nicer weather. I have never once seen the toddler outside of the apartment. She has visitors that come and go on occasion, and I'm not sure of the relationship. But she has also left the toddler and the baby home alone for extended periods of time. CPS did come and check things out, and shortly thereafter, Grandma started coming to spend time with him, and things were better. Well, Grandma hasn't been around much for the past few months, except to stop by and say hi, and the behavior has started again. Between the toddler screaming, crying, and throwing himself into things, and the baby crying more often than not, I'm considering contacting CPS again. However, some friends advised me that I was out of line for doing that and should have taken different steps. So am I in the wrong? Edit. I just want to thank everyone who has said that I'm not the AH here. I'm not around 24/7, but hearing the crying and screaming go on for so long breaks my heart. For those wondering what my friends would have preferred I do, instead of contacting CPS, it was suggested that I offer to watch her kids when I'm available, or that I help her find some type of service to assist her with her son. I'm a full-time student with a job on the side. I did what I felt was best, but if anyone has any other suggestions, I'm listening. Thank you all again. Edit number 2. For those of you who think I'm being nosy or that I should stay out of it, I should also mention that I'm a paramedic and have been for 11 years. We're legally required to report cases of child neglect while on duty. Since I'm not on duty when this is happening, I'm simply making the call as a concerned citizen, not a paramedic, in which case they tend to move quicker. And there would also be documentation by either myself or my partner, and possibly hospital staff if the child was transported and treated for something. I also don't work the squads in the same area that I live anymore. Let's start judging. You're not in the wrong. Call CPS. Continue to call if the children don't seem to be cared for. They are tiny humans. They are the priority. You're not in the wrong. We all read stories about children who were abused and no one said anything. It sounds like there's cause for concern. We are all afraid of making a false accusation. But I had a friend who worked for social services who told me they understand no one can know what's going on in someone else's house. She said although working for CPS is difficult, they do everything they can to protect and save children. Calling is the right thing. You're not in the wrong. I listened to a toddler crying every night in the apartment above mine, for what seemed like hours, in my old apartment. One night, after listening to him sob for a very long time, I admitted to myself that this was not normal childhood crying. And I called CPS. The toddler and his baby brother were out of that apartment in less than 48 hours. The mom had been locking the toddler up in his bedroom closet. The closet walls were scratched and gouged where he had tried to get out. My only regret is not calling sooner. Next up, we live in Washington State, so almost every year we got to Leavenworth. Generally, it's me 18-if, my grandma, aunt and cousin, all from my stepmom's side. But this year, I decided to bring my boyfriend, 19 and along. In past years, my cousin has brought his girlfriends, but with how long their relationships lasted, they were more flings than anything else. But me and my boyfriend have been together for a long time now, so I figured it was probably time he should come with me for this type of thing. We stayed in a nice hotel. Everything was going well. Even the sleep situation was easy. My cousin slept on the couch, my aunt in one bed, my grandma in another, and me and my boyfriend in the last bed. My cousin volunteered for the couch before we even got there, so we knew that wouldn't be a problem. It was all smooth until the second night. We stayed for 3 because with the price for the room split, it was pretty cheap. My boyfriend went to go take a shower after me, and him came back from the pool. About halfway through his shower, I realized that like half of my clothes were in the bathroom, so I quickly went in and got them. The shower has glass doors, so I could obviously see him and he could see me, but I didn't really think that was a problem until I came back out and my grandmother and cousin looked at me, disgusted, saying that I was being extremely inappropriate during a family vacation and that I was being disgusting. I have obviously seen my boyfriend naked before, and it wasn't like I went in there to have sex with him. I just wanted my hoodie. For more context on this side of the family, me and my cousin were really close as kids. If I'm being honest, probably a little too close, but I don't remember much from my childhood. My aunt is pretty cool, but pretty strict, but I hate my grandma on that side. I don't know why, she just drives me literally insane. The entire time after that, everybody was looking at us weird, and we just ended up going to eat dinner by ourselves at a different restaurant, and ended up having a great night. But to piss off my family just that last bit, we came back to the hotel after they were supposedly asleep. Not. They were on their phones, probably tired but not asleep, and we woke them. And to add the cherry on top, even though me and my boyfriend kept a respectful distance while we slept, just to keep the atmosphere neutral and calm between everyone, we were still too close. I'm seriously so disappointed that our trip got turned weird by them, but I'm kinda overthinking it, wondering if maybe I was being a little inappropriate/weird. Let's start judging. You're not in the wrong. That's being really dramatic, like, yeah, it may be awkward to be caught in a situation with your fam around, but you're not doing anything wrong. DW, you were being respectful and you did what you can to make it less awkward. You're not in the wrong. Did they not notice either you went in empty-handed and came out with an armload of clothing, or that your excursion was mere seconds? They need to get over themselves. Take comfort. At least one of them may not be around for too many more years. You're not in the wrong. It would have been weirder if you had asked your grandma to get your stuff. In these kind of situations, I like to make it even more awkward. I'm pretty sure your grandma has had a boyfriend and has had sex too. No need to be overly prude.